Welcome to MISUMI's new 19-minute webinar series. For those of you here that are new to MISUMI, MISUMI is a global supplier of configurable components. You may ask, why configurable? What is it? Configurable components solve the designer's dilemma. A designer has two choices for components, standard or custom. Standard components have limited selection and often force designers to compromise their designs. These many pluses, such as CAD, static part numbers, fast delivery, often seem inexpensive and convenient. The other choice is custom. Custom components have many drawbacks. Designers have to make the solid models themselves and all the manufacturing drawings. Purchasers too can attest to the long wait for quotes, the expensive setup charges for short runs, and the long lead times. We are forced to use custom components though because of the flexibility. MISUMI offers configurable, which is the best of both, easy and flexible. Configurable components are easy to design with and purchase. Online, select the product geometry desired, the material and surface finish, input the size for each configurable dimension within the range and increment shown. You'll get a smart part number, instant price and days to ship, and the CAD model. All of this configurability is available with our over 1 million components, available at MISUMIUSA.com. Now I'll turn it over to our MISUMI engineer.
Hi, my name is Vick Yonata. I'm a product engineer with MISUMI Motion System Group and will be presenting this webinar covering our conveyor products. In today's webinar, I will introduce various types of conveyors. I will first cover our low-cost SV series and their specifications, then cover the CV series, which is the standard type. I will also point out the main differences between the SV versus the CV and the advantages of each series. And lastly, we will look at the different alteration options available and some of the application examples. This is our conveyor product lineup. MISUMI offers various different types of conveyor. As we can see, we offer flat belts, full width belt, high power type, timing belts, and plastic chain type. Our conveyors can come with different drive variations such as head drives, center drives, and built-in drives. As you can see, MISUMI offers a wide variety of products and options. We will see the different conveyor series MISUMI offers in details on the next few slides. This is the CV belt drive series. There are two types available, the SVKA and SVKB with head drive configuration. Both model types have the same specification, besides the fact that the SVKB utilizes a guided belt to help maintain belt from meandering. Width of the belt is configurable in 50 mm increments from 50 to 250 mm. Length is configurable from 300 mm up to 3000 mm. Please note that all of our SV series conveyor max length will be 3000 mm. Motor option available would be either a 6 or 25 watt. Voltage option available in single phase 110 VAC or 220 VAC. You can also select 3-phase 230 if necessary. Gear reduction ranges from 12.5 up to 180:1 ratio. Two types of motor are available, a constant speed motor or a variable speed. Linear speed of this conveyor will depend on the gear ratio selected. 1.7 meter per minute would be the slowest when using a 180:1 ratio, and 24.7 meter per minute will be fastest using a 12.5:1 ratio gearbox. Recommended load is up to 15 kilograms with 25 watt. There are 7 different types of belt options available. We will discuss these belt options a little later when we talk about alteration. A conveyor with no belt can also be selected if you like to purchase a special belt. Please note that voltage options, gearhead reduction, motor type, and belt types will be the same for all of our flat belt conveyor. SVKN and SVKR is very similar to the SVKA and SVKB series. However, as we can see, that this series is a center drive conveyor. Much like the previous series discussed, SVKR series utilizes a guided belt. Width is also configurable with 50mm increments. Configurable length is slightly different due to the center drive configuration. Recommended load is 15 kilograms with 25 and 40 watt motor. The 40 watt will have more torque advantage over the 25 watt motor. However, the recommended load is 15 kilograms. Let's take a look at the main difference between using a non-guided versus a guided belt. As we can see with the non-guided version such as the SVKA and SVKN series, the belt does not fill the aluminum extrusion gap. Looking at the SVKB and SVKR series, we can see that the centering feature rests inside the extrusion groove. CVSA and CVSB will have an identical design. However, the main difference would be the roller diameter. CVSA features a 30mm roller and CVSB is series with 50mm roller. These are comparable to the SVKA series. However, the width is configurable in 10mm increments instead of 50mm as the SV series. CVSN and CVSB series is exactly the same as the CVSA and CVSB, but because it's a center drive, the length is configurable from 305mm to 2000mm in 5mm increments. All other specs are identical. The CVSC and CVSD is an alternative conveyor to the CVSA and CVSB if a guide is required. The CVSR and CVSW is an alternative conveyor to CVSN and CVSP if a guide and a center drive is required. CVSFA and CVSFB is a full width conveyor type with roller size of 30 and 50mm respectively. The advantage of this conveyor is to provide larger width up to 300mm in 10mm increments. CVSFC and CVSFD have the same specification as the CVSFA and the CVSFB. However, this series utilize a guided belt. The CVSE and the CVSF is a high power type conveyor. Width of the high power type is configurable from 100 to 500mm in 100mm increments. For this high power type, the length of the conveyor is configurable from 440 to 6000mm in 5mm increments. Because of higher wattage motor, you are able to convey a longer belt that can handle more load up to 50 kilograms. 60 and 90 watt motors are the option for this conveyor. CVSX and CVSY are very much like the CVSE and the CVSF conveyors, but these are the center drive version. CVSSA is our stainless steel conveyor belt type. It has a 50mm diameter roller. CVSJA is a short type conveyor with a crosspiece. The crosspiece allow a guided belt to be used. Besides all of the conveyor models I presented, we also carry narrow type versions. Both are available with head drive or center drive configuration. Two options of width at either 10 or 20mm are available. Two belt options is available with this conveyor. This is the built-in motor type conveyor. As you can see, the motor is mounted inside the conveyor's body. There are three types of width available for this conveyor. CVSTA and CVSTB are a timing belt head drive type conveyors. Recommended load is 15 kilograms with 25 watt and 35 kilograms with a 40 watt motor. CVSTN and CVSTP has the same exact specification as the CVSTA and CVSTB, except it's a center drive instead of a head drive version. The only difference would be the minimum configurable length. Length is configurable up to 2000 millimeters in 5 millimeter increments. CVSPA is the last model offered. This model utilizes a plastic chain and is only available in head drive. Recommended load is up to 32.5 kilograms with a 40-watt motor. Now let's look at the difference between the SV versus the CV series. The SV series feature a one-piece aluminum extrusion, which is why the width is less configurable as the CV series. Because of this design, the SV series is a low-cost conveyor alternative compared to our standard conveyor. The CV series does not use a one-piece aluminum extrusion. The aluminum extrusion are used on the side of the conveyor to support the plate. Because of this design, the plate width is configurable in 10 millimeter increments. Let's explore the belt options. This belt is used for general use and is offered in two color variations, green or white. Both of these belts have the same exact specification. Also offered is a belt for sliding application in two color variation. As we can see, the friction coefficient of these belts are the lowest belts we offer. MISUMI also offer anti-static belt for conveying electronic components, food grade, oil resistant, and a non-adhesive belt type. Guided flat belts are also available in several options, just like the non-guided belts. The standard belt for general use is either in green or white, sliding purpose, anti-static for electronic parts, oil resistant, and non-adhesive. This would be the stainless steel belt version and is only offered in 304 stainless steel. Timing belt have three options. The first two have exactly the same specification. However, the LTBJA does not have a nylon cloth as the LTBRA, which makes the timing belt semi-transparent. The LTBR timing belt is a polyurethane belt and is more suitable for application that require low temperature. There are several alterations can be requested when configuring your conveyor. Motor position could be specified for center drive, alteration MP, or motor position can be reversed, alteration MK. Nose bear transfer can be added in 10 or 15 millimeter diameter. Conveyor stands or large conveyor stand with a crosspiece bar can also be added for extra support. Conveyor available accessories would be stainless steel or polyethylene guide rails, sheet metal guide rails, and stainless steel or plastic rollers. Stainless steel quick adjust brackets are also available, and stainless steel small stand or sheet metal mounting brackets are also available. This is an example of our CV series conveyor used to convey plastic sprockets. As you can see, the conveyor utilizes a sheet metal guardrail as an accessory. Another example of our CV series is used to convey stamp caps. These stamp caps are conveyed into a visual inspection system. This system utilizes our dual track timing belt. On this particular application, it is used to convey molded containers. This is the MISUMI website. As you can see, the website is divided into three product groups: automation components, press die components, and plastic mold components. Since we are talking about conveyor, we would go ahead and select automation components. On the automation components page, we would then scroll down to our conveyors and material handling. On the conveyors and material handling, we would then click on conveyors. As you can see, these are some of the accessories that we have available. However, for this purpose, we are looking for a belt conveyor, so we would click belt conveyor. On the right side of the page, we can see the full lineup of our conveyors. There are over 45 conveyors available here. And we would narrow it down using the configurator on the left side. We would select belt width. For this purpose, let's do 150 millimeters. As you can see, it now narrows down our option, but let's narrow it down a little more. We would then select our flat belt conveyor type and flat belts. There are two drive methods available with the flat conveyor: center drive or end drive. For this purpose, let's select end drive. Now, as we can see, we have narrowed down our options into 7 conveyors. And as I mentioned during the webinar earlier, we have 2 series, the SV, which is the low cost, and the CV, which is more configurable in width. For this purpose, let's go ahead and select the CV series with the 30 millimeter roller. Let's go ahead and configure this. Let's select the general use belt specification in green and a length of 1.5 meters with a gear reduction of 12.5 to 1, a 25-watt motor, and motor type, we will select constant speed motor. If you do need to use an inverter, be sure to select the constant speed motor plus inverter. But for this purpose, let's select constant speed. And voltage at 115 VAC. Now, as you can see, on the right side here, this is our complete full part number. And what we can do now, we can check the price. Not only can we check the price, but we can also check the days to ship and also catalog information. On the catalog information, you can find more detailed information as far as the linear speed of the belt and as well as the load handling capacity. This concludes our webinar for today. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's webinar. All of MISUMI's configurable components and 1 million products are available at www.misumiusa.com. If you are new to MISUMI, register for access to CAD downloads, online formal quotes and orders, and manage all of your account histories. For first-time companies purchasing, you can receive 30% off. Full support is also available. Technical help at engineering@misumiusa.com, customer service at Inquire, and your local account manager at Sales. Facebook now has our 19-minute video series available to view at your leisure. Connect with us to join the conversation and see exclusive content. Thank you again.